And so, again, we're here for another Monday Momentum where I'm here to share a good word with you to start your week off right. Today, we're going to talk about pausing, reflecting, and resetting for the 2025 year. Listen, one of the things that I really need you to know is that it's super important to take a time to like celebrate your small wins. Celebrate big wins. Just celebrate making it through the year. This is a time where we're going into the holiday season where we get a chance to kind of be with family, be with friends, take some time to reset, be with ourselves, to meditate, to take care of ourselves in a way that is really best for you, right? Best for myself as well. And so I'm going to be asking some questions, sharing some stories to get you thinking about how do you pause, how do you reflect, how do you get prepared for another amazing year. So as we think about moving this thing forward, a couple things that I want to just tell you, right? Like this year for me, 2024 has been one of discovery, one of challenge, one of mental fortitude, and I'm not going to hide those things. You know, one of the things that I told myself in 2024 is that I wanted to be more open and honest about what I've been experiencing, some of the things that I've gone through, some of the things that I've worked through, and some of the things that I overcame, not only in this year, but also throughout my life. And so one of the biggest things that I can say that has really helped me open the doors to help people see me on a deeper level is starting to share the story that I didn't graduate from middle school. My brother was murdered. I went from a 3.5 student to a zero point 0.5 student. I was lost. Went into high school as a conditional admit. And so if I didn't get a certain GPA, I was going to be demoted back to middle school. And that experience really helped me understand, as I think back on it, that I was grieving, that I was depressed, that I was doubting myself, didn't really know the direction that I wanted to go in my future. And so there's a lot of us that also feel that, right? There's a lot of us that have these things that stop us from living in our fullness. And I want you to really understand that, like, as you think about some of the things that you have overcame, maybe it was something as it relates to school, maybe it was something as it relates to family, maybe it's something that has to do with friends, maybe it has something to do with employment. What I need you to know is that you have won if you are listening to this, because there's a lot of people who didn't make it to 2024, right? And for whatever reasons, like, whether that's health reasons, whether that's stuff that we couldn't do anything or had no control over, or maybe it was something that we might have had some control over, we all have maybe lost or had some situation that made us doubt ourselves. We all may have had a situation that made us feel like we're not worthy. We all have maybe had a situation that made us feel like we are not called to be the people that we are called to be. But this is your message to let you know that you are wonderfully and intentionally made. Right? What's up, Maddie? I see you out there. It's really important for us to know that, like, we are all on this journey together. And as you think about, like, the things that you want to think about to get better in 2025, we got to first talk about what happened in our lives in 2024. And so I wrote some things down that I want us to think about as it relates to, like, resetting, reflecting and pausing to really get the most out of this holiday season. Hey Maddie, let's stay connected. I hope everything is good. And so, as I think about this thing, we move forward, right? So I got some note here that I want to make sure that I specifically talk about this. And so, one, I want to talk about taking breaks. I want to talk about reflecting on the year, and I want to talk about setting a clear intention for the new year. And so pausing with purpose, right? And so there's an idea that we need to rest physically. And so when I think about resting physically, we are oftentimes in the hustle and bustle of life. But the cool thing is that we have this holiday season to maybe slow things down just a little bit. And so one of the things that I think I'm really going to be intentional about is resting until my body wakes itself up. And I'm thankful that I have won a job where I don't necessarily need to be in the office to get the work done at this time of the year. Or I don't need to be in the classroom at this time of the year, right? I'm strictly grading. Also, I'm thankful that I have a wife that takes our sons to school. And so I'm responsible for putting them to bed at night. And with our youngest son, that could be anywhere between 8:30 and 1:30. Okay. And so he is a big ball of energy. And so one of the things I'm really that taking that seriously is resting until my body wakes itself up. Oftentimes we're so caught in setting alarms for ourselves. We got to be on a schedule. We got to have everything mapped out for our day if we want to have a successful day. And I'm in a holiday season right now where my body, I want to just rest it as long as I can. And, sometimes I even hate having to get out of bed to use a bathroom early in the morning because I feel like that even disturbs my rest. And so even you might be in this space where you want to rest physically. And so what that might look like is maybe not sleeping, but maybe going to bed at a certain time. Maybe it's instead of, working out 7 or 6 or 5 days a week, you cut that down in half and you use some of that time to maybe do stretch exercises or do yoga, right? Or maybe you amp it up where you're like, I'm going to actually put my body in a little bit more of a routine as I prepare for my 2025, because I want 2025 to be physically energized and not have to worry about where my body's getting that energy from. You might have other goals. And so, as I talk deeper about some of these things, what are some of the goals that you have for your 2025? What are some of the things that you have that you want to do for your body? How do you want to pause your body to slow things down so that you can start 2025 with the energy that you hope to have to sustain all through 2025? And as I think about my 2025, I also think about I'm in a space where I'm thankful that I'm almost fully booked up. And so we're going to start classes on the 13th. We're going to have meetings the week before with my faculty. We're going to be preparing the syllabi. We're going to be preparing the schedule. But in that, I also have multiple bookings that I have to manage. And so I want to be physically ready for those travels, right? Those traveling on a plane, a lot of times people think, oh, I would love to live that life where I'm just on a plane all the time and I can move to and fro throughout the earth and make good money. And I'm not complaining at all. This is an absolute privilege. At the same time, it is a toll that is taken on your body, on your emotion, on your time, on your mental state. It's not just jumping on a plane for a vacation, right? I can't just be like, oh, give me 18 drinks, that is not what that time is for. I'm in preparation mode from the time that I get to the airport until I finish the event and leave the physical space. So think about your mind being in go mode for over 24 hours. I don't sleep that well when I'm traveling because my mind is always thinking about what do I say? How do I say it? I'm rehearsing my lines. I'm rehearsing my program. I'm thinking about the pain points that I want to be able to cover for my clients. I'm not just in a place where I'm flowing. And so I want you to think about, what does that look like for you? I think also we got to think about, what does it mean to pause mentally? What does it mean to pause mentally? And so I'm going to look at my notes here. And so one of the goals that I have to pause mentally for this 2024 holiday season to get ready for 2025 is I'm going to stop working when I get tired. Like, have you ever been in that space where you know you got some things that you got to get done, but your mind is turned off even though your body is still on? Have you ever been in that space where you felt like, I know I need to push this thing forward a little bit more, but everything that I put down, everything that I jot down, nothing feels like it makes any sense, right? That's because you're tired mentally. And then if you're tired mentally, what's going on, Dana? What I need you to do is to be able to take your time to pause mentally and allow yourself a break so that you can let things go and refresh. One of the beautiful things that I think about pausing mentally is you give your brain an opportunity to catch up to where it was going in the first place. What I really mean by that is, like, have you ever had this situation go where it's like you was writing something or you was putting some ideas down, you was kind of doing some work and you felt like you was in flow, but then you hit a wall and you like, I want to keep pushing, but I just have nothing left. And so you give that thing a rest and then you come back and you feel like you just have all these fresh ideas to really bring to that thing that you was working on. That's what I really mean when I say pause. Like, give your mind an opportunity to catch up with all the ideas that you have. Usually when you're a professional, so you're trying to make things make sense. It doesn't put things. It's not a good. You're not a. Not saying you're not a good professional. It's not a good sign of professionalism when you got all these ideas, but none of it makes sense. You can't put it all together. None of it flows, right? That's not a good sign that you're a professional. And so when you're a professional, when you put things together, it makes sense. When you put steps together, it flows and it accumulates into an outcome that's either you can achieve or somebody else can achieve. That's what pausing and resting your mental state can help you do. Right? What's going on, Wavy? Like, giving yourself a break. And I know it seems hard to do because we are often so hard on ourselves. But what I need you to know is, like, to take a break is to be human. We, as humans, you need a break. Only thing that doesn't need breaks in this world is machines, and even those break down. Right? Like, I got a car in my driveway right now that the brakes is just done, right? The brake line fully leaking, right? It's not holding no brake fluid. And so even the machine, as long, I know I've driven that truck for hours and hours on end, all consecutive, but it just at a point where it just needs some work. It needed a break. And so just like our machines, just like our cars, just like the things that we use on a daily basis that sometimes break down, so do we. And so you need to know, as a human, in order for you to kind of combat the breaking down and being broken down for too long, you actually need to be more intentional about taking mental breaks. Right? This is also another strategy that I used when I was in school, was the Pomodoro. Right? And so Pomodoro is, you take 15 minutes, you work, then you take a 5-minute break. And then you take another 15 minutes, you work, you take a 5-minute break. And then you expand it. And so maybe you work for 30 minutes and then you take a 5 to 10 minute break. And then you work for another 30 minutes and you take a 5 to 10 minute break. What that has done is helped me be super, super productive when I'm in a mental state where I'm like, I want to be distracted. I want to get on my phone. I want to play a game. I want to do anything but this work, right? And so you want to be thinking about how can you include some of those type of techniques into your journey so that you can take the mental time that you need to pause. And then you want to rest emotionally. And so we all are emotional creatures. And I'm not going to be the person that actually acts like I'm the most emotional person. Like, I am not. Like, I would say within the last year, I've probably gotten a lot better at expressing my emotions, but also showing people that I am actually an emotional person, even though I don't show it outwardly. Like, Yeah, I'm just a very emotional person. I just don't show it outwardly. So, the only way I can really explain that is that, like, my dad is a super emotional creature, right? So I feel like I got his internal processing, but my mom is also like a glacier. And so she does not show her emotions, even though she has them. And so I'm this balance of like not showing emotions, but they're always there, and they will come out of me even if I'm not trying to show you that I have emotions. It's going to come out in a weird way. And so the best way for me to now do this is practice just sharing, being a transparent person that's being authentic and open about what I'm experiencing. Right. And so for me, what this season looks like for me to rest emotionally is honestly to just find gratitude in everything, including the things that I'm having hardships in. Like that is one of the things that I think is so important for for us as we move forward in 2025 is to be thinking about sometimes the hardships are meant to help you have a deeper level perspective on whatever it is what's going on in your life, right? Sometimes your pain is an opportunity for you to see your promise. Whatever the thing is that has been causing you hardship, it might be the thing, if you lean in, that'll send you to heaven. Right? We are all in these spaces because we're human, and we that's what we are designed to be able to work through hardship. And so I want to find gratitude in everything. And so there's been some partnerships that I've lost this year that it was sad. There's been some opportunities to speak that I thought were going to come through, and they didn't. And I had to find an opportunity to say, like, that is God's protection over me, right? Like, sometimes what we think is that we have our heart set on something so bad. That's all we can think about. It's like getting that thing. And I get it. I've been there. But then when that thing doesn't happen, we feel that God forgot us. We feel like we are lost in that. We feel like we didn't do something, or somebody didn't do something fully to make sure that we got that thing for our life. And this is where I need to reframe this for you. What if you getting that thing didn't make you any happier? What if you achieving that goal made you a worse person? What if you getting that thing causes you to lose your character, the vision for your future, causes you to lose yourself in the service of others, right? Which is not always a bad thing, but we need to know who we are, to know what we value, to know where we're going. And so, what if that thing that you got caused you to just lose everything? Is it worth it? That's how we got to know that sometimes things don't work out for us for our benefit, right? Or things that are hard happen to us for our benefit. I lost a lot of time in, let's say, 2021. I had a gallbladder that literally stopped working. Like, my gallbladder just stopped working. And I had a hard time wanting to go get surgery because I was like, I'm in a PhD program. I got work. It's really important. At the time, this is in a time where you're homeschooling children. So, like, I cannot not homeschool my kid because clearly we can't send them to school because of a pandemic. I'm like, all this stuff is happening. We about to buy a new house. I got to move my whole entire family into a new house. Then we got pregnant. So I'm like, I'm literally going to be the person that's got to move this stuff. And our finances wasn't like the greatest. And so I'm like, how am I going to, I can't do all this. And so I just fought through the pain. And once I had the surgery and sat down and like actually had to sit down for like 3 weeks, that's when I realized like that was necessary. That's when I realized that I needed rest. That's when I realized that I hadn't been taking care of myself in the way that I thought I should have been. That's when I realized like how the power of taking a break from whatever it is that you got going on can help you recenter yourself to to focus in on the things that matter the most. And so I'm thankful for that time because I got a chance to put together some really amazing resources for my business. I got a chance to focus in on my time with my family, right? Really spending intentional time with each other because I can't do any physical activity. So I can't go outside, can't, work out, can't do all the things that I love to do. So I'm like, I got to find other ways to find enjoyment. Pausing yourself and resting emotionally, right, gives you the opportunity to find the appreciation for the things that you might have maybe took for granted in the last few years, months, weeks, days, etc. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find gratitude in everything that I got going on so that I can start the 2025 year with just a sense of joy and enjoyment for the work that I'm doing, for the time that I'm spending with family and friends, just for the love that I have for all the things that I'm a part of. Right? It's really, really important. And so I do have a couple questions that I have for you that I also want to answer. And so when I'm thinking about like some questions that like I want to dive deeper into, hold on, let me pull up my notes here. So here's a couple questions that I want to ask. One, what's the biggest win that you had this year? I want to share mine as well. Two, what's a lesson that you learned that will guide you through 2025? And then three, what is one thing that you are super proud of? So again, what's the biggest win of the year? What's a lesson that's going to guide you through 2025? And then what is the biggest win or the biggest thing that you are proud of? Right? And so for me, reflecting on my wins this year, so I feel like I got two. Well, really a couple. So one, I've learned how to center God in my business, in my family, in my work, my friendships. Like, it's been a true discovery for me. I'm not going to go deeper into this because, I never know people's religious affiliation or anything like that. And there's never a goal to disrespect anybody. But, for me, I'm always finding that, like, I used to be a very spiritual person. I used to be very religious. Grew up in the Bible school, went Wednesday, Friday, Sunday for years, like my entire life. And so finding that sense of foundation again and putting it in the center of my life again has been really, really, really extremely beneficial for me in my anxiety, dealing with my depression, helping me find purpose in those things. It has been a challenging year, and anxiety is one of the things that I definitely struggle with the most because I'm always focused on, is this what I'm doing helping me for my future? And so it's always one of the things. Oh, I appreciate you, Maddie. It's always one of those things I'm trying to find a way to take hold of that, empower myself in that. I think another big win that I've had this year is getting training as a speaker. And so I've been speaking now professionally since 2016. And I'm going to be honest, like until 2020, was it 2022? 2021, 2022, I just started getting training. And so think about doing something for 6 years without ever getting trained on it. And I was good enough to keep going, but I was not good enough to be great. And I thought that I would just become great. But no, that's not how being a professional at anything works. You need the training. Think about, this is funny, but like, let's say you got a doctor and you need to have a surgery. and you're like, yo, I want to make sure I schedule it for this day. I want this doctor. You go meet with the doctor. The doctor tells you the procedure, and you're like, okay, cool. So tell me a little bit about your history with this procedure. And then the doctor be like, yeah, I probably haven't done it in like 8 years, and I haven't learned anything new in the last 10 years, but I feel like I know exactly how to make sure that you're good. Like, would you be as confident in that doctor? Or would you be more confident in the doctor that comes to you and says, hey, like, I've been certified in this. I've been doing it for this long. My last surgery was these. All my last 100 surgeries in the last 5 years have went like this, and everybody's great. Like, that's the type of confidence that you get from a professional who is trained. Right? You like, yo, I know this doctor is going to take care of me. That's what I need for you. That's what I need from you when you're thinking about your professional journey, right? And so for me, like becoming a trained speaker has changed everything for me. Like, not only am I able to bring people into my world so much easier, it has also gotten the attention of my wife. And so my wife now takes a huge role as the chief operating officer for our business. And so that's a huge win that I also wanted to share as well, is that my wife has now become my COO and my manager, right? And so nothing goes out of my company. You don't see anything on social media. You don't see any email. You don't see anything from me without her looking at it first. And that's a win for us, because we started this year out with her being like, yeah, I'll send that email. And then 5 days later, I'm like, did you send that email? She's like, no. I'm like, okay. And she'd be like, yeah, I'll create that for you. And then 5 days later, it's like, did you create that for me? She's like, nope. And she'd be like, oh, I'm like, yeah, I'll do this for you. I'm like, 5 days. I was like, did you do that for me? She's like, nope. All right, we started that way for months. And then we went to a conference together on speaker training, speaker development, and that's when the click happened for her. And the reason why I think that happened for her is because she saw that her gifts, her talents, was not serving her family in the way that she thought she could have. Like, that's the cool thing about our relationship dynamic. Like, I can be the guy in front of all of these people. I can do that. I do that very naturally. And she very naturally is a background, operations, detail-oriented person. And so while I'm using my gifts and talents as her husband, as the father, the leader of our home, I'm using my talents and my gifts to help move our family forward. She, I guess, had a premonition that she was not. And she's just got on the ball. And then before you know it, she putting in 16-hour days. I'm now watching the children on the weekends because she's working. She's focused. She literally delivered and built my website. So check it out, www.drdarmayweather.com. If you know me before, you know my website used to be doing the good work. Now we are in a new season where Dr. Dar Mayweather is the brand. That is the work. That is where we're going. That is the direction that we're heading. And you can find everything that you need about the work that I'm doing there. But it didn't start there, right? But without her, I wouldn't even have that website because I'm not a good person to design nobody nothing, okay? So I'm gonna Canva that thing as much as I can, okay? And so I want to make sure that you know, like, that's a huge, huge win for me for 2024. Here's a lesson that I learned. From 2024. You don't get what you deserve. You get what you work for. I'm going to say that one more time. You don't get what you deserve. You get what you work for. Hard lesson that I had to learn this year. Right? Hard lesson. I'm going to make sure my camera's good. Nobody's going to save you. Nobody. Only person that's gonna save you, the only person that's gonna put as much energy in to make sure you have the life that you believe that you're supposed to live is you. Oof, that was a hard lesson for me this year. In a lot of ways, like I told myself that I always felt that I was special. I always felt that I was gifted. I always felt like there was something in the world that was going to happen for me that was going to just change my life and the life of all the generations after me. But it wasn't until this year that I really realized that there is no partnership. There is no person I can hire. There is no person that I can bring along. No person that can intern for me. No person that can manage for me. No person that can plan for me. That's going to bring me the level of success that I have in my own mind. I got to do that. This is why I started doing these weekly lives. This is why I started doing my YouTube channel, right? So check me out at Dr. Dar Mayweather on YouTube. The reason why I started doing these things is so that I can literally show the commitment that I have to the success that I want. I want to be consistent. I don't want people to see my brand, to see my work, to see my website, my media, and not feel like I'm not showing up in a way that's going to make people believe that I'm serious about this. I'm so serious about this. And so one of the lessons that I learned again is that like nobody's going to save you. Like I remember, one of my goals was to pay for this speaker training, and I wanted to get it paid for through a refinance. And I'm like, I wanted the highest level of support. I wanted to be able to be at the highest level where I can get the most out of that I can out of the speaker training. And everything was good until it wasn't. And I have all the equity that I need in my house, right? But when we got the call that, it just didn't go through, that let me know, like, all right, I got a decision I got to make. Because I need this training, but it's going to be thousands of dollars. I can't get refinanced. What am I going to do? Am I going to just dive deep into my bank account and empty that thing to be a part of this? So I had to really look at myself in the mirror and say, like, if I make this commitment, I got to take and make the most out of it. Nobody's going to save me. I got to put the work in. Just because I get a part of this community, just because I get the training that I need, doesn't mean that I implemented anything. For you, nobody's going to save you. Just because you did all the right things, just because you said all the right things, just because you made all the connections, doesn't mean that everything's going to happen for you in the way that you want it. It's going to be some hardship. You're going to have to make some hard decisions. When you get to that point where you got to make the hard decision, what are you made of that's going to show you that you are clear about your vision for your life, and it doesn't matter what you got to sacrifice to get it. I mean, again, I'm not saying sacrifice your soul, right? I'm not saying sacrifice no children, right? Or your time with your family, really important time, but it's going to have to be something. It's going to be something. And so that was a huge lesson that I learned this year. And I think that it's starting to pay off because I'm really realizing, like, if it ain't me that's pushing myself over the boundaries of what this life could be for us, then who gonna do it? And so it's gotta be me. Right. So the last thing that I wanted to ask you, I'm gonna again take a look at the notes, is what is one thing that you are proud of? One thing that you are proud of. And so I've been teaching now for 5 years, and I'm thankful for the teaching opportunities that I've gotten now full time, right, at the college or university. And I will say every year I've gotten better, but this semester feels different. I'm more proud of this semester than I'm proud of any other semester. I can see myself really changing. I can see myself really growing. And I can see that I have a vision for how I want people to grow and change in my classrooms. I'm gonna say, I apologize to Maddie. I mean, Maddie's always been a great student, so I don't know if she's still here, but I don't know if I was giving my best. I don't know if I made you believe in yourself in the way that I want students to believe in themselves now after they work with me. I was very cynical. And part of me is like, that is just kind of how I grew up, right? Like I grew up as in an environment where you had to make the right decisions because you knew the right things to do. You know better type of perspectives. And that has served me very well. But I think that also had created I know better type of perspective. And so I don't think I value other perspectives as much as I should have. And now I'm in a place where I'm humbled to have people tell me and share their story with me. I'm humbled that people share their visions with me. I'm humbled that people share their challenges with me. And now my response is that everything that is happening is supposed to happen for their benefit. It's something that they are supposed to learn from this, just like it was something that I'm supposed to learn from this, right? Maddie, thank you so much. Maddie said, I truly believe you gave 110%. Your class changed my whole perspective on everything, which is why I'm here today. Give yourself some credit, Doc. I appreciate that, Maddie. And I'm also appreciating the fact that I know I'm glad that I can see that I have room for growth. I'm glad that I can see that I have room for development, right? I'm glad that I'm not stopping where I was, right? I'm glad that I'm here now. And so if that is also for you, right? If that is also you, I want to send you energy. I want to send you love. I want to send you growth and development, right? I want you to find that one thing or some things that you're proud of for yourself, because that's what this time is about. It's about going into time with your friends and your family with gratitude. And we only can get that when we appreciate some of the things that we have done and accomplished throughout this year, even if it's super small and minute. That's okay. Like sometimes it's just being grateful that we woke up today. Sometimes it's grateful that we can walk, that we can talk, that we can scroll on social media mindlessly. Sometimes just being grateful for those little things helps us have a great attitude as we move forward, helps us pause, reflect, and reset as we move forward into 2025. And so here's some things I want you to leave here with, right? I'm going to wrap this up. And so I want you to reset with intention. Right. And what does that look like? So, okay. So what I have done, me and my wife, we decided on a word of the year. And although I can say that me and my wife have definitely had words for our relationship, like we have grown tremendously in the 12 years that I have been her boyfriend, the 10 years that I have been, or almost 8 years that I've been her husband. I have grown tremendously. So that's my word for our relationship is growth. Her word for our relationship is joy, because she just feels like over the 12 years that we've been together, it has been a joyous experience. And so now that I'm having these opportunities to think about words that encapsulate where I'm at and where I'm going, I want you to think about what's your word for 2025. So my word is clarity. Like 2024 for me was about consistency. And I think I've gotten there. right? I think I've gotten routine at some of the things that I'm doing and trying to do to continue to serve you, whether it's going live, right? And if you want to catch the replay, we'll have the replay on YouTube. But going live, making sure that I connect with you, that I'm here for you, that I'm here to answer any questions that you may have, right? Even if only one person shows up, I'm still going to show up prepared with notes, ready to go, right? Sorry, my internet was acting wild. I can't do anything about that. Well, I'm actually going to start working on that in the near future, actually. But, this is a part of it. And so what I want for you is to think about, what is your word for next year? What is the word that's going to give you the energy, the joy, the motivation, the inspiration to continue moving forward even when things get hard? For me, it's clarity. Like, I want clarity on who is it that my business is meant to serve. I've been able to serve so many different types of people, and I'm thankful for that. But that also has caused some confusion on, like, how do I go deeper? I want to go deeper. And so I got a feeling that working with college-bound students and professionals, I think, is the thing that I want to do. Right? I think that's the thing that I want to build around all of the things that I'm doing, because I think about, again, as a young man going into high school, depressed, grieving my brother's death, confused, doubting myself. Two things happened for me that really helped me realize that I need to serve these college-bound students. One, I got in community, and people saw me for my strengths. They saw me for my gifts and for my talents, and I didn't believe in myself, but I believed in the things that people saw in me that I couldn't see. Two is I started serving, right? And I really believe that we are all called to serve. And I really believe that if you feel lost, that you can find yourself in the service of others. And so that's what happened with me, serving high school students, right? Working with teachers to help our school be better. And teachers and counselors helped me write an essay to help me get $25,000 in scholarships. And that's how I got to college. I wasn't intentional. I didn't have a plan. My grades surely wasn't the thing that was going to get me to college. But it was people who saw me in a time that I couldn't see myself. And so if I can be that person for another young person, that's what I want to do. Right? And so clarity, I think that's my word. I want to get clear on who I'm meant to serve. And then through that, I would love to, again, to serve all these other communities, but I want to ensure that the people who I'm meant to be here for know without question that I am here to be of service for them. And so that's it. That's my Monday momentum. If you got any questions, again, we'll be here next week, Monday. Share them. Shoot me a message if you got a topic that you want me to cover. If you want me to put together some notes and some ideas of ways in which you can move through and matriculate through life, through leadership, through work, through college, through high school, middle school, to be able to think about what does that look like for you. I am here and I want to serve. So thank you again. We'll be back again for another Monday Momentum where we share a good word to help you start your week off right. Next week we'll be here Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Looking forward to connecting with you. Send me any questions or ask any questions that you have that you want me to cover for any topics. And of course, as always, keep doing the good work.